Sana. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel where you can get to watch more powerful and impactful videos. Also join us on the comment section, on the chat section. Chat us up. Tell us what you think about the topics of the day. What insights do you have about the topics of the day? What's your favorite meme for the day? And let's have an amazing time. So let's get into today's episode.
Welcome to Firebrand Nation News. My name is Firebrand Michelle. Welcome to the show where we tackle issues and give them biblical solutions. On Saturday, I am joined by amazing panelists, kama kawaida. They are not new to you, they're not new faces, but it's always a pleasure to have them on set. So I'll start from my right. Reverend Joshua, kindly introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mitch, for hosting. It's an amazing Monday, and today's topic is so amazing. So I'm so excited to see what we're going to discuss.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Firebrand Kevin.
Thank you. Asante kwa kunikaribisha tena katika show.
Sana.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that we're going to have an interesting show, as usual. By name is Kevin, and I'm glad that you have joined us. Thank you.
Karibu sana. And as always, they always do this to me, but it is what it is. Rev Joshua is a reverend. Nilembe Reverend is an office. He serves in the office of a reverend. He is a great worshipper and an artist. And then Pastor Kevin over here is a civil engineer and a pastor and also a great dancer.
Okay.
Great dancer.
Let's switch gears to the meme section. So, this meme hit me very differently, but ni ukweli. If you want a boyfriend with a car, you will find him where you have parked yours. Period.
True.
Kweli kabisa.
No, you need hate speech though.
Hiyo ni ripoti ifikie.
Hiyo ifike mashinani.
Ifike mashinani. To all the ladies wenye anasema kama afanye hivi kifungu ya gari.
Park yours first.
Park yours first. And then you can be able to tafuta ule akona amepaki.
But to defend the ladies.
Wapatane kwa parking.
No, but to defend the ladies, issue is the guy is one who needs to work. I mean, even in the 7 days, like when man was first created to work, alafu ndio dem akakam. So like I don't see what the problem is.
Okay,
si unataka mtu akona gari.
But hiyo ni nini? He's supposed to work for it.
Hiyo si goal.
Tusa hapana, goals zinakuanga different to everyone. Kuna mtu ni goal. So hapana.
Atunataka boyfriend. Kama kusema unataka boyfriend ako majuzi wewe uende majuzi.
So exactly. Kama unataka an European.
You know this is unfair because you only got two gentlemen. Like this is so unfair. Firebrand Bomb, shout out. I loved you more, but I've missed you on set today.
But the thing is, if what is bringing you together? There is no point. At no point will someone mwenye ana fly na someone mwenye ana drive wapatane unless wapatane kwa runway.
Ndio sasa.
Apatane kwa runway, ndio.
Excuse you.
Like that is it, ndio.
Ongeza volume.
Ukienda kwa air, the only people like
gender equality.
Tafadhali angalia ile kama.
Hapana, two-thirds gender equality.
If you really feel unataka a boyfriend mwenye akona gari. So what is your mutual thing that is bringing you together? Gari, ndio. Exactly. So weka
mnasema wapatane parking, kwa parking.
Unataka nyemkali wote mkalie gari moja. Tafadhali kama let's say you are conversing. Chalia kalie gari yake hii side. Sikuna fai kuna social distance. Dema kalie gari yake hiyo side waongee.
Unajua mtu akona gari hata tuma fare.
Exactly.
Hakuna fare kukula, tafuta gari yako.
Hapana. Two-thirds gender equality, Firebrand Bomb.
Yeah, Leo.
So I'll allow you to help me on the rest. So I think I'll start with Kevin.
Yeah, so there is this one, maybe it was Judas' wife that wanted the money urgently. And come to think of it. Yeah, hawezi jua.
Unajua nini nataka? Tunimeshika sahi.
You see hiyo meme. Umse amefikiria. And then this guy also ni kama wife yake amemsumbua.
Exactly.
So it's like,
Exactly. Like, can you imagine? This is what women make men go through.
for Judas to betray.
Judas.
Akiuza Yesu. By the way, maybe hakuwa na issue. Maybe hakuwa na issue. Lakini wife manze, ile ndio amepelekwa home. Manze utauza Yesu.
Juu wenyewe, let's be honest. Christ si alikuwa anatembea na these disciples almost everywhere.
Yes.
Ni time gani angepata kuspend do?
Ni
wapi?
By the way,
walikuwa wanakula pesa from walikuwa wanakula hata kulikuwa na off.
Atakula pesa saa ngapi?
Ninyi mlikuwa.
Atakula saa ngapi?
Mpaka wewe imagine mpaka nini? Jesus alikuwa anatuma mpaka Peter aende pesa kwa fish. Atapata pesa ya kutumia saa ngapi?
2/3. I repeat, 2/3.
This thing.
I feel attacked.
No, it's true.
But it's unaona venye amethink.
And actually it's like coming to think of it. Coming to think of it. That's the facial.
Lakini labda kulikuwa na it's like John the Baptist akikuwa beheaded. There was an operative behind the scenes, ndio. Mwenye alienda akaambia the child, I want kichwa. So unaweza pata that Judas alikuwa the person mwenye anafanya the thing. But nyuma yake kulikuwa na accomplice, kulikuwa na mwenye
someone.
I see what you're trying.
Yes.
I see what you're trying.
All right, to the next meme. Due to the less pollution, Earth is now visible from Rongai. This is
that one.
Unajua nini hii meme? Sasa hii meme ni kuonyesha Rongai iko mwisho ya dunia. Yaani
hata iko kwa dunia. Hata like iko ukiangalia the size of the earth iko fata kuliko malimuni iko.
Shout out watu wa Rongai. Diaspora people.
It's because our director Chege Wambai moved on from that place, otherwise we would not have peace.
Kwa nini? Unajua Rongai ukisimama hivi unaweza ona nini? The other planet. Yeah, iko kwa.
Mazena na shanga scientists all this time wamekuwa wakitry to investigate the planets that have got life now hawajashughulikana. It is high time by the way
Rongai.
Yeah, to at least venture in those sides.
Rongai massive.
Rongai.
Pollution imepungua.
Rongai.
Let's take two, Kevin.
Then this another problem with being ugly is that people think you can fight.
This is amazing.
Hey, this is
lakini ni ukweli.
Yeah, like in Mona this I would try to envision kwa mind yako like okay, yes we know that we are fearful and wonderful. But kuna that part yenye kuna wale wenye fearful. That picture kikam kwa mind yako unaona tu msenye ni
anaweza fight. Yaani design mtu amekubondea,
Exactly. Like even in football kuna watu wenye ukiangalia hivyo uwezange kujoke na
hawezi
calm.
Ako calm lakini vile amebonda and sometimes unapata these are the most friendly people.
Exactly.
And they're very humble. But sura inafanya utoke kijiko. Yani
speaks something different.
It happens. I like this other view. Ati ladies hata fair ya huyu mtakula. Yaani huyu jamaa anajenga septic. These are septic tank.
Why not?
Ameshika kwa wale wanajua mjengo inaitangwa nini? Si ni gurumala ama ni nini?
Aka smoother.
Exactly.
Wow.
Inakuanga na jina ya mtaa. Wanafaa tupatie kwa comment section. Anipatie jina ya mtaa.
Manze, alafu unaamekwa kama unaonanga vile like kwa factory. Ama kwa airport. Maluo unaweka luggage unaona kuna conveyor inaenda. So unaiomba wenye meka hivi ni kama conveyor anavuruta
Exactly.
Akismoothen kando tu.
Exactly.
Alafu akishatoka hapo yeye amekula pesa yake.
Manze alafu bado dem atakula hiyo fare. Manze. Ladies out there, please, kabla ukule fair,
be compassionate.
Namuulize ukule fair. Uliza
Ulize imetoka wapi?
Exactly.
Mwambie kutumie picha akiwacho.
Unachoma.
Yeah. Oh God.
That's a nice one. MC.
On to our last week, Fibron Josh.
Ati inner beauty. Kwani wewe ni mutura?
Hey, by the way.
Ukashika roho. Inner beauty.
Until when I like a lady, it's not about her physical beauty, it's about her inner beauty. Ulisikia
Ulisikia
wapi?
wapi?
Zingine
Ladies ulisikia wapi?
Hapana, even ndo mnasemanga ati I'm looking for her inner beauty. No,
that one mimi nilikuwa attract kwani
hakuna story kama ina beauty.
Hakuna kitu kama ina beauty.
Hakuna ina beauty hapa.
Ni nje kwanza ndio wewe inavutia.
Kama ameweza.
It is like it is direct. Nini, what do you see? Hata God aliuliza.
Mutura tu ndio tamu ndani.
What do you see? Mutura by then nani it's good.
Mutura ni sura mbaya lakini ndani iko sawa. Lakini for the ladies hakuna story ina beauty.
Let's compare. We know that ladies are very very special, very important, but please tusidanganyane. This thing is very important. It is very important now. Hatutaki to compare two important things.
That is amazing. This is a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah, but Lonnie may feel I have missed Bomb's presence. I cannot say it enough. 2/3 gender equality. Most memes.
Are we choking you?
Yeah.
Are we suffocating you? Are we affecting you?
Tunakusuffocate.
Tunakuaffect.
Mnakuja sana.
Alafu kwanza amekaa katikati. Tunamconfuse.
No way.
Yes.
Sijashaganikero watu hapana.
Tunakuaffect.
Mnani suffocate.
Suffocation and let confusion.
Guys, hit the comment section and say which meme was your best, because today's memes are on fire, but 2/3 gender equality. Next Monday, we'll make sure that most memes hit this other side, because it's not fair. It's not fair. So let's switch gears to the topic of the day, and it is how the US elections might affect the youth. As we all know, the US elections are happening tomorrow. And let me give you a bit of a background of why we're talking about how the US elections might affect youth. There was an agreement in 27th August 2018 about the free trade agreement. So Kenya and the US have had diplomatic relationships from 1964, but mainly trade relationships. And we are the third. Kenya is the third. No, rather, the US and Kenya have worked for massively, if I'm not wrong, about 50 years in the trade department. And this is about to come to an end in 2025. And the free trade agreement is an agreement of trade between President Donald Trump and President Kenyatta. And as tomorrow is elections, we do not know the results, or rather the outcomes of it. And to explain deeply about what we will get to enjoy from the free trade agreement, for us to begin to better understand and begin the discussion, the scope area of the free trade agreement is to secure a predictable trade regime within the US, to enhance and diversify export of goods and services into the USA in predictable preferential terms. So remember, this is an agreement between Kenya and the US. So we as the Kenyans get to export our goods and services into the US under predictable and preferential terms. So this, the both stakeholders have sat down together, agreed on the terms of export. Number 3, to stimulate industrial, agricultural, and service industry development. So this, in a nutshell, brings out job opportunities because it touches on very key areas, which are the industrial, the agricultural, and the service industries. And Kenya flourishes more on the service industry. Number 4, to stimulate industrial, that I've said. Number 5, to support development of value chains, especially in production and value addition, and creation of demonstrable economic benefit to the Kenyan economy, especially creation of decent jobs and sustainable livelihoods. Because this hits the companies in Kenya, and as a result, we get to have decent jobs with the merging of the Kenyan and the US governments together, but specifically for the free trade agreement. Number 6, to strengthen and promote Kenya's regional, continental, and global market access through the revamped production and supply capacity arising from US investments triggered by the FTA. USA is a first world country. No need to explain about that. They are way advanced in technology. They were advanced in services. They were advanced in businesses. So this is bringing Kenya and US together, and an arising of US investments, because we are basically more or less removing the middlemen, and the US coming directly, like their investments coming directly to Kenya. And number 7, to use expanded markets to attract investments, targeting production and exports into global markets. So this is not only a US and Kenya thing, but when they merge together, it will blow out of proportion. Like, it's not just a two-country thing, it's a continental thing through Africa and through USA, which are United States of America. So that is just a brief background. It's quite lengthy, but just a brief background of the free trade agreement. So, and we all know that especially during the millennial generation, we are moving more into innovations rather than white-collar jobs. So this would be very important for us. So I believe I've explained why the US elections might affect, and how this might affect the youth. So to my first question, in the case that Trump does not win, how do we continue to reap the benefits? And I'll start with you, Vibrant Kevin.
Thank you for the opportunity. My thoughts are, if you look at this act, like the AGOA, African Growth Opportunity Act, it was signed into law, like I think early 2000s.
Yes.
But then we have seen that we are in 2020, that is 20 years down the line,
line,
and they are now on the negotiating table.
Right.
If you look at the number of presidents who have been since 2000, there are so many. So that tells us that once this process has started, if anything goes and maybe the change in administration that has been enforcing it changes, then it might really slow it down. Mm-hmm. So there is so much uncertainty about the president who is going to be elected, whether it's Trump who is going to come back or it's Biden who is going to be elected. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, it's the relationship between Kenya and the US. So I think up to the point where we have gotten to, it is now up to our leaders to try to push it, because there are already people who have been appointed to the negotiating table. Mm-hmm. So it's these people through the Ministry of Industrialization and even through the African Chamber of Commerce of America. Mm-hmm. It's now up to them to try to push it. So now, for us as youth, I think it is for us to apply pressure on these grassroots commissions and agencies, mm-hmm. so that they may take the issue to the governmental agencies, and then the governmental agencies, they push it to the US. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that is personally, I think that one would work. Yeah.
Thank you. What do you think, Fabian?
I think one of the objectives that has been put in place, mm-hmm. with the two, is that even after the September 2025, once the AGOA thing expires, mm-hmm. there's a way they've put such that there will be smooth running still of business. Mm-hmm. But my fear is that's just a documentation, mm-hmm. but it has a lot to do with the actual system that is there at that specific time, mm-hmm. the leadership that is right. there. Because we've seen many things are documented, like what Fabian Kevin says, mm-hmm. that it was agreed many years ago, let's say almost 20 years plus yes. ago, but we are seeing the negotiations taking place right now. Mm-hmm. And that means when the Kenyatta-Trump terms maybe expire or elapse, the leaders that will come, the US leadership versus the Kenya leadership, they will first try to look at their political blending, mm-hmm. and benefits. Sure. You get. Mm-hmm. So let's say if the US president did not support a certain candidate from Kenya, mm-hmm. and that's the candidate who won, mm-hmm. then it means that this agreement will have to delay longer.
Right.
And I think that is it's a minus, especially when it comes to now the young people. It means the suffering continues as we continue to because of the delay.
Correct.
Yeah. So I think we need maybe try to look at this, make the structures more firm, such that regardless of who is coming into power,
Yes.
the trade and the system has to continue. Because when you look at when I just backtrack a little bit, when President Kibaki took over, when he became the president, he exchanged business from the western side
Yes, and to China.
You understand? So that means even the agreement had to delay the more, because the China people had a better deal, probably construction of the roads and just developing the country more than maybe infrastructure. Thank you. The infrastructure side, and maybe the president who will come in will have another idea which is not really focused on the trade side like the US Kenyan. So I think that's where the biggest challenge is. It's still more political affiliated.
And maybe just to add on something that Fabian Joshua has said, he has mentioned a very strong point that the leadership that comes into place, and I'll pick, let's say, from President Moi all the way to President Kenyatta. President Moi was more of a Juakali person, so he decided that everybody let go to Juakali, build things that we are going to see, and that's why he also started the program of Nyayo One, although it never picked up. So that one was more of an industrialist at the local level. Kibaki was more of a business. I want all of you to go into business.
Right, and an economist.
President Kenyatta is more of, I want to create jobs. You get it?
Yes.
So this person who,
very good ideas, but
like I want to create jobs, I want to create jobs so that we may hire the youth. It's not we want the youth to create jobs, but for the model of President Moi was I want anybody to create jobs. So when such a transition happens, the emphasis, like the investment in innovation, in research and development, in tertiary institutions. That's why even right now there are no polytechnics that are really functional. So the investment in those institutions, it is removed. So what happens? Again, that thing is set back. So when another president, like right now, comes in, let's say in 2022, another president comes in, and maybe his or her model of development is Juakali. Now everything about business is crashed, and then now we go back. So I think that is the danger.
And that would bring me to the next question. For how long will we be tossed around, depending on what the leader is perpetuating at that moment? Because we've seen most, and it's actually, I don't know about other countries, but I can say for Kenya, we don't usually build, don't even talk about the chart, we don't usually build from the last person, from your predecessor. Even if the ideas were great, you break down the ideas and begin all together. Like you scrap it all, and then you start afresh, and that takes time, that takes money, that takes negotiations. So what would be the right way or the right model to put across so that any leader that comes in still follows without Kenyans being tossed around? What do you think?
I think there needs to be an independent agency. An independent agency that is tackling matters industrialization, matters development, so that regardless of the administration, this program must continue. And I will take a reference maybe in the US, because it's a nation that I've studied for quite some time. There is this National Aeronautics and Space Agency, NASA. So this administration, it's an administration. During the time that it was signed into law, I think in 1950s, President Kennedy was unfortunately assassinated. His idea and his dream was to take people in the moon. When President Obama came, he said that I don't want us, we have already gone to the moon, I want us to focus on Mars. So all resources were created to go to Mars. When President Trump came in, he said that I don't want us to go to Mars, I want us to return to the moon. So again, all resources, and now a new program, Artemis 1 and 2, as it has been created to go to the moon. So you get that advancements have come, Mars, but if it's an independent institution that regardless of the administration that comes in, a law is signed into place. It's just like education. Regardless of the administration that comes in, primary education will always be free.
Right.
Secondary education will always be free.
Right.
So let's have an independent institution where matters, trade agreements, they are constant regardless of the political, the political, like the president who is in there. Regardless of all other relationships. And let it be handled by independents and not political leaders. It is good to have diplomatic relationships, but let them end like at the embassy level.
Right.
But now when it comes to matters development, let it be the civilians who are negotiating that.
Right.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
Yeah, I think I will much agree with what he says. We need independent bodies, not systems that function without interference from the government and from politicians. As systems that are really free from access by political leaders, because most of the things, as he says, they are being used for personal gain.
Right.
If I manipulate this system, then I'll get more influence, political mileage. Understand? And I think that's where we actually miss it, because someone will come and say, this is what I'm going to give. You get?
Right.
I'm going to create maybe job opportunities, and that maybe in their manifesto, and that's what is going to make them get some political mileage. But actually, whether you're coming to become the governor or the president or whoever, whichever seat you want, it should be, I'm going to facilitate and ease the system that has been there, the policies that have been there. Like now we're talking about the agreement, the US-Kenya trade agreement. I'm coming to facilitate this.
Right.
Again, let's say like the example of infrastructure, I'll still go back to that example, where we had the former president, that is His Excellency Kibaki. He facilitated, or rather he started off the infrastructure thing. So when the new government came, they started building more on what was already agreed. And that's what we need. We don't need a system, or rather a place whereby when this president comes in, or this leadership comes in, they come with their new thing, and that Kenya will never grow.
Right.
A country will never grow when every leader comes and they want to begin a new thing.
Right.
No, that will slow our growth. I think that is the best way to go, and that's what we are saying. Have not just one system, have systems. I like what Firebrand Kevin has continuously said, that we need, for a country to grow, we don't need politicians to make a country grow, but we rather need systems that are controlled by people who are really knowledgeable and have understanding on how systems run. And let us have this system to operate such that even if today we removed the whole government, the systems are still there, and the country will run. Yeah.
So what you're saying is the country should run without, not really quote unquote a government, quote unquote.
Yeah, in those specific
areas,
departments, like in specific sections. It should actually, I think, and I support what Rev Josh. If you go and look at the wealthiest families, I'll give an example of the Windsor family. This family, it has got 100-year plan, and it says that whether you are born into the family, provided you are born into the family, there is a limit of the expenses that you can accrue within a year. You cannot travel more than this number of miles in 1 year. So it's simple. If you come and you explore, you finish your miles by February, for the next of the year you are not on the family wealth.
Awesome.
So we also need such a system in Kenya. In Kenya, like we say that in matters, for example, development, we have laid up a vision, for example, like 2030. Within this vision, we want to create strategic partnerships, for example, with the US. So this strategic partnership, it should be completed by, let's say, 2022. Regardless of the administration that comes in, it must be implemented by 2022. So I support that.
Yeah, even when let's say the president changed our relationship in terms of business from US and took it to China. There need to be an agreement such that we are going to operate up to this year.
Yeah.
Get. And regardless of which
Who's coming to power.
who is coming to power, that has to be respected.
Yeah.
And if there will be any other agreement, then it has to still not be political.
Sure.
My biggest concern and my biggest problem is where we use these political our political leaders use these things to facilitate themselves. And that's the I don't know if you get that dynamic. That's the biggest problem that we have. Yeah, it just needs to be. This is the way, regardless of who is coming. This is what is going to do, and I think that really bring, even for the young people, a young person grows knowing that this is the system, this is the way we are going.
Right.
You don't have to have those uncertainties. When this government comes into place or into power, I'm going either to lose. I'm not sure what is going to happen.
Right.
Even the things of just deviating a little bit in the matters of education, you're going to vote a government on basis that they will scrap off or they will let go my help or you understand?
Right.
Yeah.
Because and that's where politicians
True.
really
That is true.
bait us.
Yes,
You
I
get?
agree.
Yeah. So I think those systems need to be in place and not changed. Yeah. So that's what I really believe and stand.
To my second question, in case the FTA does not go through, what do our leaders, how do they navigate? What's your take on that? How do our leaders navigate the benefits of the FTA?
So I think in the process of this discussion, I think we have really addressed addressed that, and that is personally, I think the creation of an independent institution that is going to handle, especially matters science, technology, the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Because let's be honest, that is the wing that builds a country. If you don't have scientists, technologists, engineers, and mathematicians, there is no problem that you are going to solve, because everything needs to be modeled in a scientific manner.
Right.
Innovations, they are scientific. Everything, it is, and we need people who are competent. So our leaders, they should first of all create that institution. After creating that institution, they liaise with the educational institutions, as Rev Joshua has said, the aspect of education. So that our institutions, you see, it pains me that our curriculum, whatever we are studying is whatever people in 1980s studied. Things have changed. Even the climatic conditions, they have changed. So we need to study on the context of, for example, we know that we want a vision 2020, a vision 2030. So by 2030, we need to have a certain technology. So this university has invested in building that technology, like China. They knew that in 2020, it's all about artificial intelligence and autonomous driving. So what did they do? They channeled all their resources to building 5G. So right now they have 5G, they are on top of the world. So I think we need such a model from our leaders.
Right. And just to add on to build up on that is this FTA, if it doesn't work, the only way, not the only way, but one of the ways that our leaders can navigate is we can look from other avenues. If let's say we get a new president and the US feels this is not the person we can work with, then we just shift like what Kibaki did.
Correct.
Because as long as what he's saying, our government need to channel all the resources towards building our own people and in creating investments in the nation. And I like what he said. I don't know if we had started or before the show started, and he talked about building up entrepreneurs, people who create jobs, creating not creating jobs for the people, but rather making them to become job creators. Yeah, I think that's where we need to get into, such that if the free trade doesn't work, we don't just have one nation to work with. We have other established nations that we can work with. But you see, again, my problem is always the political influence.
Right.
Because I want to go to a nation that will support me politically.
Yeah.
You get, and I think we need to get beyond that to a place whereby which nation or which investment, which country can we invest with, and this country will help our people to be job creators. Innovation, countries that have innovation, like all the innovation in, let's say, China. If it comes into this country without really personal benefit, understand, without personal benefit, but we are saying we are bringing all this so that our people can be able to learn and become job creators.
Right.
And I believe Kenya have, the people of Kenya are really smart.
Yeah,
The young people
I agree.
are smart.
I agree.
We've seen, like even during this COVID, we saw that, was it a 14-year-old boy or less? And he invented this machine where the sanitization, that machine. Which means if we really put our resources, as he's saying, we channel all our resources into innovation,
Right.
our young people are able to get that.
Right.
They're able to enter into business. I don't like this idea of we just giving our young people wheelbarrows and mkokoteni.
And to interject you,
and then
so that you answer the question, how, because the main people, the stakeholders of this conversation, the discussion are the youth. So how do the youth align themselves? As you think?
I think the youth need to, first, the leaders are supposed to empower them, because the youth cannot get empowered if they are not, one, educated. If they don't have the resources, they cannot be innovative enough if they don't have the money.
Right.
You get? So I think the first thing is, don't just give them these tools,
Back to wheelbarrows.
the wheelbarrows, to make them just earn a living for a day, but rather create those. I like what is happening in our higher education facilities, where we say, like JQuat, channel more money, channel more money, such that let's have young people. And I know. Like the other day we had this issue of hacking. the issue of hacking. And when you look at it in a positive way,
Right.
it just means if these people can hack a government system and go with
They should
money.
be working for the intelligence
Exactly.
of our country.
It means simply if
Because that's the
you
system that London uses. If you were hacking in your phone as a thief, instead of they use your knowledge and put you into the intelligence system.
right. So instead of and we're not saying
You're not saying that you have.
things to do with morals. We
Right.
have to
Right.
really, young people need to up their game on that.
Right.
But what we are saying is channel more resources, more money, innovations into all that. Because in the next, let's say, like 10 to 15 years, if we really channel our money towards our universities and innovation, we will not be voting for a leader to give us jobs.
Right.
We will be employing the government itself, and you understand?
Yeah.
We will be job creators.
Yeah.
Nobody will be jobless or looking for employment as such. As he said, if we have 100 young people, and these young people we are looking for jobs for the 100. Why don't we empower 2 of them such that they can become job creators?
Right.
2 job creators, one employs 50, the other one employs 50.
I agree.
And the problem is solved. You get? And I think that is the mentality that probably we should have.
Right.
Yeah.
The mind shift.
Yeah. I think Rev Joshua has said a lot, but I think now as the youth, first of all, we need to get this knowledge.
Right.
Let us not just be blinded with everything that is happening around, but let us study. Even the Bible says, study
Be
that
approved.
you may be sure that to show yourself approved.
Right.
It is being approved. So once you have such knowledge, you will come to know, let's say, the vision of the country. If I know that, let's say, the country is aiming to be food sustainable, let's say by this period, how can I position myself based on the knowledge that I have maximize on that opportunity. It can be a logistics. It can be like right now I want to develop a logistics company so that when the time comes now, the country has got so much agricultural produce, I know that it needs to be ferried around. I have vehicles, everything set in place.
Right.
If it's a certain technology that is required, I have it.
Right.
So I think we as the youth, we need to study. We need to study. When we go to the university, let's not just pick any course,
Right.
but pick something that you are not going to get employed,
Right.
but you are going to create employment using it. So that means that you need to pick something that you are very competent in, so that we may advance this nation. And also, we need to also study from whatever is happening abroad.
Right.
Let's not just confine ourselves in Kenya. Hatuna kazi, gava imetuangusha, sijui gava imeban sport pesa, so hatuwezi gamble. That one is sport pesa ikukuwa hapo.
Right.
And even if it's there, it's benefiting very few people, and most of them, they are not the youth.
Yeah.
So we as the youth, we need to basically it's positioning ourselves.
Right.
It's positioning ourselves.
Position
Yeah.
ourselves.
And just an addition.
Yes.
For the young people, get some knowledge from wherever you are.
Yeah.
We are in a generation where knowledge is
Vertical
easily
lessons. Right.
is easily accessible. So for innovation and anything, there's YouTube, there's
Correct.
online studying.
Right.
Just get some knowledge concerning a particular field.
Right.
You don't have to be a university graduate for you to be an inventor or something.
Right.
Yes.
But just study, as he said, looking at your strength and looking, this is what I would like to pursue. For him, he loves a lot of things to do with space
Right.
and rockets and all that. This is my passion. I have a passion for these machines. Let me study them. Let me get knowledge about them. And by that, as it also just supporting what Firebrand Kevin says, going beyond just our national view, our local view, and looking what other people from out are doing.
Right.
And with that, I really believe we can go far.
I agree. That's all the time we had. Since this is a show where we give biblical solutions, what are your closing remarks, Firebrand Kevin?
The Bible says that a talent or a skill is going to create an employment for you, paraphrasing it. So what we need to do, we as youth, let us gain skills as we have discussed here. Let us gain skills. Let us have knowledge, practical knowledge, not theoretical knowledge, so that we may apply it. And once we have that knowledge, we are going to get that market niche that we are going to effect our change. Yeah, so that is all.
Firebrand Josh?
I'll look at the Bible story, and there's this young man I love so much called David. David's career into becoming the king came only because he knew how to play the harp. And that's why Saul had to call him, because he knew how to play the harp and he knew to play it skillfully. So what's your harp? Get your harp, get skilled into that harp, because that harp will actually make you dine with kings, and not only dine with kings, but become a king.
Amen. Thank you so much for your honest opinion. As always, it's always a pleasure to have you on set. As you've heard it from our panelists, what is your harp? What is your harp? Get to know whatever you're skilled in, get to know what you're passionate about. And for you to get financial autonomy, it's time for you to study far and beyond, change your mindset from being employed to becoming a job creator. Well, that's all the time we had for you. Thank you so much for joining me, Firebrand Michelle, on FNN Monday edition. Use the hashtag #PanelistMonday and comment on our social media platforms on JBN Television, on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Comment, give me your 2 cents and comment using the hashtag #PanelistMonday on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Thank you once again for joining me. I am Firebrand Michelle. God bless.
Hi guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. If you would like to join the Firebrand Nation movement, go to our website at www.firebrandnation.com, sign up and someone will get in touch with you. Also follow us on our social media handles at Firebrand Nation on Instagram and YouTube, and Firebrand and Firebrand Nation KE on Facebook. Remember to love God and love others passionately.